Greg, we know the end is near, but this is not an obituary. This is a celebration.
I like that. That's a good way of putting it.
Because there are not too many of you about. What are your thoughts about your career in general?
The more I think about it, and obviously since I knew I was going to retire, and that's been quite a long while now, I've thought about the good times, because it's always nice to think about those good times. And look, I think overridingly I did everything I could and maximised the potential I had in order to succeed. And I was incredibly fortunate that I was surrounded by some of the best in the sport ever, in Dan Paff and the medical teams that I've had. I've gone to the greatest places, being that in Arizona, California, whatever else, to train. I've done everything I could in order to succeed. I succeeded, and for me, I will look back at my career with so much fondness, knowing that I did everything I could to become the best. I had my time at being the best, and I now get to watch other people take the torch, run with it, and hopefully bring and elevate the sport to a whole new level.
You go back once again inside that stadium where Super Saturday happened. You've done this a few times after that day. What are your thoughts going into that stadium yet again?
Oh, it's going to be emotional. Like, that stadium holds obviously the most incredible memories from my point of view, and I always say that was the catalyst for me to be able to go on and win more championships and believe that I could be one of the best there ever was. And without that London Olympic Games and everything that brought to me, I wouldn't be where I am now. So to go out there one more time, to embrace the crowd and everybody and step onto that runway, it's going to be incredibly special, something that is going to be very emotional, and more importantly, something that I'm going to enjoy more than I think any other event that I've ever had before, because it's different now. I'm not going out there saying I want to beat everybody, I want to be the best, I'm fighting to become the best in the world. I'm going out to say goodbye, I'm going out to enjoy what is a fantastic life and sport. And I'm going to have a chance to mingle with some of the best crowd that we have in athletics in a British crowd.
We know the story about so many injuries. What kept you going during those dark days?
I think what's really important with injuries, illnesses, etc., that you surround yourself with people that have the same thought process and beliefs that you have. Now, I belligerently believed that I could become the best, and be that for a year, 2 years, or however long it was going to be. I knew at some point it could happen. And I surrounded myself with the people that equally believed that. And I think the thing that made it easier was the fact that in Dan Paff, the coach that I've had for the last 10 years, who is a legend of the coaching world, a legend of this sport, for him to believe it as well, then it really sort of hits home a little bit more. So when there are problems, you know you're doing everything you can in order to get back, but you know these other people have got your back. And that for me was really, really important. I'm very lucky again with my family, are wonderful, with Susie and the kids, and best friend, a guy called Andrew Steele, who's been so integral in keeping me going. Having those people make it a lot easier, and thankfully, because of them, I'm here today.
You're only one of a select few to have won Olympic, World, Commonwealth and Euro. How does that achievement make you feel?
It's really funny whenever you say it, because I still struggle to sort of put myself in that bracket of people, because what was always obviously really interesting is that I grew up watching the guys that had done that. The other people on that list of the 5 of us, again, Daly was slightly before my time, but watching Linford was my first ever memory of track and field. Again, someone like Sally, who I've worked quite closely with over the years, like, these are legends of the sport. So to then put myself within that crowd, I really sort of struggle with a little bit, actually. It's bizarre, but I think it's something that I'll reflect on even more once I'm retired and away from the sport. And I hope that 1 or 2 people remind me of it and tell me how great it was, so I can keep it in the forefront of my memory. But it is still something that I think will take a while until it really sinks in.
You've jumped against all sorts of people. Honestly speaking, who has been your toughest opponent?
The current bunch, it's really difficult, because it's been changing so much. It's been a sort of flurry of different jumpers coming in over the time. I think historically, if I look at it, the person who was the greatest competitor that I ever jumped against was Dwight Phillips as a competitor, because that man didn't matter what was going on, he had the ability to raise his game when it mattered, and that was something that inspired me a lot, and something that I was then able to go on and do after he sort of moved on from the sport. The guys that are there at the weekend, sadly I've not jumped against Echevarria, and I was really keen to, but that will happen in Birmingham. I think Luvo's somebody now who's enjoying himself. He's got an awful lot of confidence, and he's a fantastic long jumper. So at the moment, I think most people are looking at him and thinking, well, it's between Luvo and Echevarria now. Luvo now, it's just him there. So he's going to be a very difficult competitor to beat.
I was going to ask you about this young new kid on the block, Juan Echevarria. What are your thoughts about him and what can he achieve?
Oh, Juan Echevarria, what an incredible talent. 19 years of age and achieved what he's already achieved absolutely blows my mind. And I think, and I'm throwing myself out and I'll say this, I think he could be the one to break the 9 metre barrier sooner rather than later, become the world record holder and become the greatest in the event there's ever been. And that for me is incredibly exciting. First of all, to have lived in that era slightly, but I'll hopefully be in a stadium whenever he does it to watch it and sort of revel in his incredible ability and success, because it will be wonderful to watch that happen.
And one last question for you. Despite all your achievements, success, dark days, good days, whatever, what has been your biggest regret?
Oh, biggest regret? It's always very difficult because I think I always tried to do everything I possibly could in order to succeed. Probably my biggest regret actually is not working with Dan Paff earlier. Now I didn't know, obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. If I could have joined Dan as an 18, 19 year old, I think maybe I would have won a 3rd Olympic medal, being that at the Beijing Olympics. And I think maybe I would have had even more success over the years, because he truly has been instrumental in getting me the success we had now. Maybe if I joined him a bit earlier, there'd have been even more.
Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.